Welcome, guys, to the morning. Well, not the morning market report. That is my bad. To the Monday class. Hopefully, you guys are doing fantastic. I want to know how your weekend was. Let me know how it went. I do see a couple of coins moving. In the meantime, let's bring up the charts. Ethereum to the moon. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if to the moon, but we're absolutely seeing some rotation of capital, and that is normal. That is because we see Bitcoin hovering at the top, same thing we have seen previous scenarios. Remember those micro old season? I think we are there, right? But be careful because if Bitcoin breaks to the upside, well, capital is gonna need to come from somewhere, right? And since with all of the altcoins pumping, well, not all the altcoins, but many altcoins pumping, well, then I think we know where we're gonna be having that liquidity. By the way, beautiful. This is orange juice and carrot and how do you call that thing that I don't remember. It burns when you ginger. It burns when you drink it, but it's fantastic. I love it. So cheers. Trying to start my morning with a boost. Let's take a look at because it's not that today I'm going to be trading much, but I will absolutely be looking for possible entries, and that is because how things are moving. So how the rotation of capital is happening. Sound is choppy, guys. Do we have choppy sound? Please let me know. Sound okay? Sound not okay? Let me know. Was camping on weekend? Oh, my friend, really? That's fantastic. I love camping. How it went? Stable coins MC is going from 500 a billion choppy. All right, is it choppy? Let me reboot my stuffing here. Give me guys 1 second. Test. So we have how to test everything. You sound if we're in a container. Oh, I see. Let me hear myself. Test. Oh, no audio processor. Let me see. Test. Test. I think this is much better. No, sort of. Yeah, I'm just trying to fix this thing. Let me see. I don't know. For some reason, Elgato's been just I don't know weird on me. Let me hear myself. All right, much better. Perfect. I think we got it. Does that sound better? Test. On the test, guys. Let me know if that sounds better. And also, let me check out the recording. Yeah, seems like it's doing its thing. Test. Thank you for your heads up, Daga. My friend, thank you, brother. But let's working not like on Friday. Yeah, not like on Friday, man. That really was kind of like shitty to be honest. All right, let's get it going. Let me bring up my screen up here, and also if you guys can let me know if we are good to go with the sound, that'll be fantastic. All right, so this is what I'm looking. Remember, we were experimenting with quote unquote, right, with what it could be becoming. Something important it is that all of those, what are those flags per se? They are broken. Today in the morning, I was talking about a possible. Let me see if I still have it in here, and I don't know why it is not showing. Let's go into this one. Maybe that is the one. I don't know why I changed this. Right, maybe there it is. Maybe we are into a range that comes into sense if we start, especially just inverting the scale. We could be looking into a coming back down little range V-shaped recovery that give us 70% chances of ranging. Something important that I'm skipping on purpose. It is the range, right? And the high not higher than the previous range. Well, that is broken, right? So it's not a perfect Wyckoff scenario though, from those that we are expecting, right? If you're a Wyckoff nerd, of course, you'll say that this absolutely could be it, and you will be right. Just not the one that I always teach, right? Nonetheless, that this gives us a somewhat 70% chance of ranging. I would actually cut it down to 60 and ranging. Well, then yes, we are ranging. Based on our scenario, we have set up areas where we could be, ranging for range out, right, range in, and top range. So from all of those lines, I think we have this defined where that range could possibly be playing out throughout maybe this week. Let's invert it back. So what are the chances up and down, right? So a range is a 50% breakout, 50% to the upside, 50% to the downside. Did you say by Pepe? No, no, no. I haven't said by Pepe, brother. Not just yet. So let me just save this. I don't know what did I say. That sounds like it, maybe. Uh, all right. So the point in here is that we could be looking at a flat pause of bullish continuation or a harsh reversal. Depending on how we have this spring, I would say, will come into play how or what would that result be? Because depending on where is the spring, we might have a different result. All right. Usually the spring is at the bottom, right? If we go when we go a little bit farther below, you see that. So that is your spring. But if you're looking at it the other way, right? Let's invert it. Where would your spring be? Your spring would be right here. In fact, will be this one right there, right? So if this is your spring, well, then the result of that spring usually goes the other way around. So do we have a previous alert? Yes, that will be the spring. Do we know exactly what is it going to be breaking through? Not really, not even right now, because our oscillator, it is basically flat. So it is mostly, right, having the same amount of bearishness than bullishness, or mostly the same equilibrium. And I think this is going to go for a little while we exhaust the time that is left in here, and of course that we hold the 116. There is another scenario. Let's go take a look at the daily. All right. Daily, we were expecting a little bit more of this big range to play it out, right? So this big range. It broke out faster, all right? Perfect. That is perfect. Breakout. But remember what happens. Usually we go in for the breakout, retest our entry, and then off we go for further continuation. Where would that retest be located at? Well, then if we look at where our previous range was, it's going to be somewhere between 110 and 100K, 108 if we want to be very specific. So thinking that 100K is out of the game, I think that would be a little bit silly at this point. It's still within reach. It's still within possibilities, especially if we want to continue in a healthy way. Like, for example, right here, well, this is not the most perfect example, but we have our trend line, right? We have the breakout, we have the first retest, and I don't know why it did that. So breakout, retest, off we go, with a secondary retest right here before the off we go motion, all right? And well, then we see that repeat over and over and over. Like, for example, in this case, by the way, this case, this was a very special zone. If you guys remember what happened here, please let me know. But, well, it did happen that this was the Bitcoin ETF, if I'm not mistaken. So the Bitcoin ETF approval, little pump, then lost it all, and some more.
Also, your camera is frozen sound.
What is it?
Was your sound and the video was frozen. Now it's okay.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you for that. Don't know what's going on, guys. Seems like Discord it is kind of like a messy again. But let's see. So far on my end, seems like it's okay-ish. So the recording should be okay. But thank you for your heads up there, Daga. Really appreciate it, my friend. So, looking into, let me just push it over here. Perfect. Looking into this area, well, then this was a little bit different because we have our ETF approved and then dumped, all right? So we're going to be ignoring that one. Nonetheless, the breakout retest of go did play out. So coming back to 100K is not out of the question, right? But still, let's just play it as it goes because so far we have a range. And just like with any other range, well then, especially because of the size of this range, all right, let me show you. Look at the size of this range, look at the size of this range, look at the size of this range, look at the size of this itty bitty range, right? So those are small ranges that usually ends up with a bullish continuation. So are we going up or down? We don't know. What we know is that we're ranging, and ranging is 50-50 chances. So, Sir Classic in the house. Who's Sir Classic? Oh, Reggie Classic, absolutely, man. Man, what a question. Sir Classic, absolutely. Sir Reggie Classics, what's up, brother? Long time no see. Nice to have you around. Well, you were last class, weren't you? I think so. All right, so let's go to some other stuff so far. Now that we understand what's going on with Bitcoin, let's go back to another chart of Bitcoin, which was what we were expecting on the 4 hours. All right, so we're zooming into this itty bitty range, right? We're zooming into the 4 hours. Remember, from daily, this itty bitty range, to the 4 hours. Looking at that range in a bigger perspective. So what were we talking about here? A possible pennant. Also, we talked about morphology in the market, right? So what was the morphology? One scenario could start forming into another pattern, right? So one pattern could transform into another pattern. First, we were having the head and shoulders, right? We lost some hope right here. And then I said, well, if we are able to break through and then break the neckline, I think we're for a treat for that head and shoulders. It ended up not playing out. What is our next scenario? Our next scenario will be looking into this ranging here, all right? And most likely, we're going to be ended up making a triangle. Something important, look at where the triangle is at, all right? We didn't have anything from that triangle to actually place this line. I just played by ear, if that could be called it, right? So I just invented it. I speculated on that possible movement based on what I'm used to seeing on those areas. Another thing that I did was looking at where was my liquidity, trying to grab the bottom of that liquidity. Another thing that I was doing was looking for my, there we go, my VRVP area, right? And pushing it somewhere where we have that big liquidity zones. So far, let's just move this out of the way because we're going to be reusing it, right? Remember that we enter on a quarter entry right here. As soon as we were on profits, that did not happen, by the way, right? So right here, we were on profits for a little bit and then immediately took us out with a 1 quarter. Nonetheless, we did make a very nice trade right there. So let's just, now that we have enough information, let's actually fix this. All right, so let's get rid of this because we already know how it's playing out. Let's get rid of this one, rid of that one also. Let's minimize some stuff. Here it is, perfect. And of course this needs to be locked. All right, is it locked? Yes, but why is it not showing? All right, maybe it's just hidden here. Oh yeah, it's hidden. All right, right here, right there. Perfect. Now I can get rid of this. All right. And I can absolutely start doing my trend lines like this and the triangle that we were expecting like that. All right. Just as a quick note or side note, here is what we were going after, which is actually playing out very nicely. This is it. Little hump, right? Bigger hump, triangular pattern, right? Breakout retest, off we go. So far, for example, this is playing out very nicely. A little bit of a low ball right there, but still playing very nicely. Let me just get rid of this. So we have also a cleaner chart in here. So it's too early for that spaghetti. Once again, little hump, bigger hump, that triangular pattern, breakout, and off we go. So as you can see, we're following the exact same pattern, but now we do have the insights of that pattern to show us where those outlines are gonna be at. All right. So far, I don't know why I moved that. Let's just place it here. Perfect. And we have a much better description of what's happening here. What's up next? Well, the next thing it's looking for the spring, because this pennant is not the whole story. The whole story will be if we start making those lows or those highs, because that's going to indicate where are we not only breaking through, but also where are we springing in case this can transform into that range. All right. So far we're getting closer to that breakout. We are pretty bullish in both cases. Our consolidation score is very high. Remember, 8, it's extremely, its consolidation is extremely fragile at this point because we're at the end of that consolidation. And also, we have some areas to break through. So what I'm going to be doing is just cloning this to give myself a little bit of a buffer or a little bit of a wiggle room here. All right. And then I'm going to be adding some alerts into those lines. First, I'm going to lock them, of course, and that will keep me alerted in case something start breaking out. Let's add it. I also see a couple of questions. Let me go read them. Vlet, I need Market Oracle Pro Plus chart prime version. What is it? Settings. But buy and sell signals show different places. What? I like the settings, YouTube. I don't have those settings. Please contact support. We might be able to get them, but we need to extract them. By the way, those are defaults, but I don't use default settings. So they should be the same as long as you have, well, you need marker. I need Market Oracle Pro Plus. All right, let me see. Uh-huh. They should be, by the way, they should be automatic. Let me just show you really quickly. Most likely, as they come from default, but then you just click the autopilot, and that should be it. But please create a ticket at support, and they'll get you the settings from YouTube. But really quickly, I would advise on configuring your way instead of just copying the YouTube signals. Check out what Daga gave to you right there. Thank you so much, Daga, for that. Those are the masterclass where we configure our indicators for what are we looking for and not for what other people does. My let's just say that my personal vendetta, if we could say that, well, it is just to get you into a profitable state, right? Not to make things easier. Well, yes, but just not to give you the fish, but to learn to show you how to fish yourself. If you like that, if you want just the settings, please go to the the help channel, get a help channel, and request a ticket. Ask for the settings, and we'll give you the settings on YouTube. But if you want to go a step forward and really configure the way that you're looking into, go check out important classes, additional content, right? Especially on how to configure your indicators. Class number 1 and 2, they are a little bit outdated, but still everything plays out with the same logic. The only difference it is that how it's called, Smart Money Concepts is now part of the Market Dynamics Pro. And then instead of changing 2 numbers, you only need to change 1, which is either your trendy, which this is my configuration, by the way, for Bitcoin 4 hours. It's not that you copy it, but you can use it as a reference point. and then just move it from there. I recommend starting at 20 and increasing in 10 numbers. When you find your trend breakouts, that's when you stop and fine tune it. But if you have any other more specific question, I'll be more than happy to help you with that. So let me know. All right, let's go down to a couple of things that have been playing out for us. So let's go to our settings here. Let's go to our alerts, and we have a new alert just hit right now. All right, so 9:02, it's 9:31. Let's place a line where that alert hit. So that was at 63.76. That's where our alert just hit. We had another alerts in here. One of those, if we go all the way back down here, it is Jupiter. With a Jupiter crossing trend line. What trend line it crossed? This one right here. Remember, we were expecting from Jupiter to go back to those areas. Remember that? Have a sweep of the lows. Come back up. All right. And then we start nailing some trades. So if we take a look at the next Jupiter setups, this is 52.95, 52.95. So ding, 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 first one in there, right? Then we also had another one that played out next. I don't see it right here, but it ranked on 55.46. And finally, right now, hit our final target at 63.76. So if you took this trade, that was a very nice trade. For the best case scenario, you are looking at a 33.74, no leverage. If you're using a 10x leverage, as I do, you're looking at a best case scenario of 337% gains. So my brain, for some reason, I think it's a lack of sugar right there. All right, other stuff that has been ringing throughout the weekend, July 19th. So if we take a look at when July 19th was, that was Saturday. Saturday, what was it? 11 a.m. So we have Libra. All right, let's take a look at Libra then. This was our entry that took a long time to take, by the way, to play it out. So we were looking into these areas for re-entries, as you see, right? And yes, were we underwater? Absolutely. We have a buy signal in here. We have a flip of the ribbon. It just pumped, right? And we were looking to hunt. Let me just fix this, all right, to hunt that liquidity. What kind of liquidity? Well, we see that a repetitive pattern. It is this movement in here. It is this movement in here. So what we did is just measured a conservative movement from the base to here for TP number 1. And by the way, we aim for what I can see, we aim a little bit higher, or even, oh yeah, I see, because we aimed from here. And then the next one was again from here to there. And there it is, very close. So as you can see, those targets really played out for Libra. As we took some profits, look at that. We gave almost everything back at it as we went into it. All right, so I see a man 85. What's up, man? Kindly discuss Link. Absolutely, we can take a look at Link. Let me go over a couple of other two coins that we talked about previous weekend, right? We have another alert right here, crossing the bottom. So right now, this one has not yet played out, but remember, we have this alert right there. Our stop loss, in case you did not set it up, I'm looking at a previous low right here, and then add myself a little bit of a wiggle room. And then, well, then we're looking for a further continuation. I think this is going to be a little bit much. Oh, I see why. Because we're looking at, if I bring up my indicators, there we go. Because we have a liquidity zone in here. So we could be having that movement already. So be careful. It's time to move your stop to entry. So it take 50% out, just to prevent that this reverses on us. All right, so just checking back on that. Let's go into now your request. So you look for Link. All right, Link USDT. I haven't traded Link since this breakout. All right, so nothing to do with Link, by the way. But if by any means a possible short, but this is not financial advice. Let me just clear my Link scenario. There it is. And let's bring up my indicators. So far, yeah, very, very bullish. Are we on resistance? Yes, we are. But remember that my set of resistance right now are based on the last range. They are, let me show you proximity. Let's just take off proximity for a second. Let's click OK. Let's wait for that. There we go to stop moving. And we have anything up above? Not really. So let's fix them back into proximity. All right. So far, there we go. Playing much better. Are we on resistance? Yes, we are. Do we have any other sort of resistances? Well, our daily support and resistances is showing us a 2351. Reaching there is not out of the question, but I just think that we need to wait for retracement. So let me ask you something, Aman. Are you looking for an entry? Are you just interested to see what's going to be the analysis? Or are you already into an entry and looking to either take profits or close your long or short? Let me know. I want to sell. All right, so you're looking to short. All right, so to short, and this is a very bullish scenario. To sell, all right, let me just understand because I don't want to confuse that. You want to sell, all right, so you own some and you want to sell it for profits, or you want to make a short. You already bought, you're looking to sell. Oh, got it. You're looking to take some profits. Already bought. Perfect. So you already bought, you're looking to sell. Perfect. All right. Depending on where you bought, let's just go for this retest, right? Because we always buy on retest, all right? Let's just go for that. Or maybe you bought at your break of structure, right? It doesn't matter. Let's go for the worst case scenario where you might have a 61% gains, right? If you are in doubt, sell. So sell partially. Not financial advice, but that would be a good area to take some profits. What I would do in your case would be moving my stop to entry like that, taking 50% out, all right? And why is that? Because I'm on a previous, not only premium, but also look at that at the edge right there, right? At the edge of resistance. So just taking some profits might be the way to go. In this case, you can no longer lose. If the thing comes back down and you buy very up high in here, it will take you out, yes. But you will have a new opportunity from what you have taken profits now to re-enter lower. Let's bring up a couple of other stuff, shall we? Let's see right now, VRVP, areas of support right here. So, but that will be taking you out. What we want to see, if that retraces and takes you out, by the way, you will be looking for something like that in a re-entry right there. Support areas right here and right here. That's it. I bought Link for $500,000 at different prices. I usually look at only one coin that is fundamentally strong. I already make for 40K USD profit. Want to maximize my profits. All right, well then this would be the way to do it. Something important if you're looking to maximize your profit, and that is a simple request, but a very hard way to do it. All right, so let me explain. Maximize your profits involves also a risk, right? Because if you're already in gains, perfect, you can take it all and that's it. But you have your stop loss, or you have your, I mean, if you bought in several places, The very first thing that you need to understand is where every entry happened, how much you bought, and at what price you bought, if that makes sense. Well, let's just say that I right now, right, bought at these lines, these three lines, here and there, right? And I bought, I don't know, let's just say $100, $100, $100. All right. The higher it goes, the more risk of retracing it have. All right. So the smart way to do or to go about this, it is looking at either each entry and see its profitability. All right. Or looking at a whole, and since they are 100, you average them down to your 50% area. Basically, you do an average. So what's your average entry? Regardless, if you're gonna be looking at everything as a whole, all right, take profits as you go up. Where are you gonna be taking profits? At areas of resistance. What is your resistance? Go back in time and look at for where your support and resistances are playing out, right? Right here and right there. That will be it. Another important zone, or something that you can also add to it, are your predictive ranges. And that is the one that I will most likely look into, right? I will be taking profits as I break the golden lines and as I'm getting closer to the purple lines. All right. So, hey, Chef Crypto, how's it going, brother? Nice to have you around. DCA in, DCA out. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Because you never know when is it going to be going, when it's going to be flipping, right? What you know is where everything is gathering together and it has the greatest chance to flip around. Let's do that exercise. Why not? Let's just clear this up. All right. And what I like to do when I'm looking for high confluence zones, it is, all right, where is my my indicators? Well, I have a support resistance, whatever you want to call it. I have previous weekly low. I have this one, and this one, because they seem they seem important, all right? They're very close to each other, yes, but that will change in a second. Then let's add our other support and resistances, all right? Where do I start seeing duplications? Like right here, and all the way in here. This is going to be an important one, all right? Right there. What else do I see? Well, how's my VIVP looking? Where do I have zeros? Well, right here, I have another zero. All right, so I'm duplicating that area. Where do I have very large areas of volume? Right here too, and somewhere around here, but this is too far away so far. So I'm going to be looking at this one here. All right, what else do I have in here? Where are my order blocks? My order blocks are below me. Where do I have the strongest of them all? Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything coinciding with the same areas. Let's go ahead and mark them. I mark the center of those, all right? And just for good measure, the loud order block, I'm going to give it to line speed. Why? Because it's a loud order block. Then my predictive ranges. Right here, one. Right here, another one. Previous monthly. Right here. And then my volumetrics here. So what else do I have? I have another one in here, another one right there. Center of the volume. Right here, another one. And that will be basically it. All right. Here is where when things start getting messy, I know, right? But if we start moving them, oh man, there we go. Don't move that much on me. If we start making them into clusters, you'll see that a pattern emerges, all right? What pattern? Well, then, where they are bunching up all together. In this case, they're bunching up together most likely at the bottom of the price action. All right, let's go and try to. And now some of them I'm slightly moving them so I don't lose it. There we go. And where do I have my boxes of resistance? Right here. So I'm in a resistance. All right. Right, maybe right here. There's a small resistance or support. Right there, where I see the concentration of everything. There's another itty bitty box in here. And finally, the big area to look for. So far, let me just right click in here. So let's lock this. So far, we're not having much of a resistance above us, all right? And that tends to be because we're already into a resistance. So how can I predict that? Let me just clear first clear this up, all right? So first of all, understanding that I'm in a resistance. Taking profit should be your way to go. How much? That only you can tell how much you want to take some profits. If you already have taken some profits, perfect. Then just move your stop to entry so you're not losing more than you invested. All right. So let's see. If you want to take a look at higher resistances, this is a fantastic way to do it. Right, with this one and with your predictive ranges. There it is. Oh, this one also showing me good data right here, right there. Liquidations to see where we liquidating the most amount of people, and right now we're liquidating a lot of people. Where is the next big bright spot? Somewhere around here. Just trend haven't broken. And that's it. All right, so targets. We already have some targets. Targets somewhere around 21, all right, and then targets around 25. We could still go higher, absolutely. But there's one more thing in here. Look at that. I cannot actually make a trend line, or I would need more than one trend line to give me a trend. Usually breaking the trend breaks, it's telling me that I'm breaking the trend, right? Breaking the trend line is telling me that I'm breaking the trend. And I should be taking either profits or moving my stop to entry. For that, let's go and use Gauss trend crossing. If you take a look at that, it measures the parabolic movement and gives you a trend line, all right? A tangential trend line. Why? Because it's the tangent of that circle, of that parabola, right? Where that line crosses. So how would I play this? Well, it's true that I can flag out, so I could flag out, and unless I break out my trend line, I'm not going to be considering that I break out the trend. And if I break out the trend line, I'm going to be looking for losing the zero line. If I lose the zero line and I create a lower significant low, I'm not going to get out. I'm going to wait for the bounce. That's my way out, and off we go. All right. So how do you take this? Just scaling out. How do you take this? By waiting confirmation. So both of those, it's maximizing your profits. Just so you know, all right? Why? Because let me show you. Let's go, for example, in here. This happened the same, right? But in a much bigger time frame. Oh, there we go. Actually, this one plays out fantastically. Right here. Whichever. So you scale out, you scale out, you scale out. You break the trend line. You see, you break the trend line. We go low. You don't exit at low factor. You exit at the previous scale out zone when you bounce up, and then off you go. That way, yeah, you did not go out at the very, very, very tippy top, but you scaled it out, and then you just call out the rest of your profits in here. The same thing happens here. You go up, you scale out, you scale out, you scale out. What happens? You lose it, right? You don't sell. You go to your previous scale out zone. All right? You took your profits and then off you go. So the way out is just scaling out and then taking your major profits after the big movement can play out, and then you're going back for the rebound. That's your exit for your major opportunity. Again, not financial advice, just technical analysis. Use my pay tools, but Chartprint has turned out to be the best. Thank you, my friend. Frankly, some of your free tools, best your pay tools. Really? Like what? Like which ones? By the way, I have a channel where I only show free tools from Chartprint. Oh, really? The swing profile? You like it? Love it. Love it. Nice. That's a very nice feedback, my friend. Thank you very much. All right. Aman, did I answer your question? There's a lot of explanation involved, right? But I don't want to fully answer it. Yes, thank you. My pleasure, my friend. My pleasure. All right. We still have some time. Let's go for some requests. Guys, what are you guys looking into? And what would you like me to analyze? Discus centrifuge. Oh, absolutely. And XLM. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go for those. Ada. Nice. All right. Let me try to get them all. Let's get first centrifuge. I haven't heard of it. KuCoin. Zoom out in 4 hours. All right. We do have enough volume. All right. Something important, and this will come as a topic, guys, will be when I see these kind of movements, I might be inclined to catch them. All right. Love it. ADA trade. We'll see about that. We'll see that one. All right, absolutely. So, what do I do? It's like, what is my baseline? All right. Am I bullish or am I bearish? So far, I'm bullish. I'm having a parabolic movement. All right. Where there's no flat trend line, right? Because if I go for a trend line here, you can see I cannot catch all of the bottoms, maybe here and there, but I start losing them, right? But it kind of like looks like a parabola. You see that? So that is a parabolic trend. So it's going parabolic. So if I see it's going parabolic, one of my best scenarios could be my ghost trend crossing. All right, let's take a look at that. Well, it's configured in a low setting. Let's just see what it tells me. Right, so it's going parabolic. We already have crossed the trend line, so we're breaking the trend. So what could we be maybe expecting? A little retracement as we go to the zero line. So looking for maybe that retracement. Remember, retracement can happen on price action. Well, retracement usually happens on price action, but there's another way, which is ranging. All right, so if we range and we let the dynamic range come in closer, look at what had happened, right? When we come closer, we start picking up that momentum. All right, let me just close this up. So far, we're in a parabolic movement. We're on previous highs. So I'm going to be looking for a retracement. The next thing I'm going to be looking for, it is how big, all right, those movements can get. Because if I can get into a parabolic low, all right, I could be looking for that run up. All right. So entry points, not really right now. Let me just clear everything up. Let me see if I have some more information. All right. Everything is bullish in here. I need to see a retracement from there. Are we on a resistance? possible rejection. I'm seeing a ranging here. Right, we are in a rising wedge. Usually that rising wedge breaks to the downside. Hopefully we do have that retracement. Yep, two areas of support. We also have another area of support here, so be aware of those two. Again, some area of support, some area of support. Let me actually fix this. Perfect, much better. And basically everything else is telling me the same. All right. Areas of possible entry. I'm not chasing after the price. So I need the price to either range and hit dynamic reactor or very close from it, or areas of entry. They are going to be somewhere around 0.21. Let's add that alert. And 0.18 for a run up. How big of a run up? Well, then let's not be that ambitious. I think this one plays very nicely with most of those. Look at that, right? So if we get it here, our target will be somewhere around 0.27, 0.26. If we get it down here, I think we're going to be looking at 0.23. So yeah, I mean, I think the interesting part of this one will be those spikes to the upside, because even in a downtrend, it has its spikes. So looking for that average low will give you a good base zone for spiking up. Let's see. What do we have? Parabolic RSI, my chart prime is good too. Oh, love it. Thank you. Can we also discuss Ondo, please? And I want to know the groundbreaking difference between chart prime pro and chart prime plus according to you. Sorry, new here. Oh no, that's fine. And by the way, Launchpad, your answer was answered by Daga. Daga, thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate it. You get the plus oscillator, which is a mashup from our influencers. So they all came together and they say, you know what? I would like your oscillator to look or have this tool, right? Or look this way. So we took their input and they put it all together into the plus section. So basically, the groundbreaking, it's both the tools, but how the tools came to be. So, for example, we have Bravo, we have Alex on Crypto, we have Piper. They also consider me. Who else? They involved. I think Trading Labs. Not 100% sure on all of the ones. I do have the list, but it's been a long time since I don't read it. We participated around 10 to 15 of the influencers, all right? And the deal was that, all right, so if they said, well, I apport it, I want a piece of it, all right, perfect. So we put it into a plus subscription. So if you apport it, you get just a little bit of that return in that. So that's why it is a different subscription, just to get that out of the way, all right? We brought all of the global knowledge from the influencers and technical analysis, and they said, all right, what would you like to have in the series? Like, how would you make your own? And then we match everything up. Like, for example, your prime oscillator, right? It gives you our own secret sauce from the True 7. We also have classic MFI, right? We also have brighter colors, and this is because I insisted it, the old shape, right? That'll give you the goose heads, but it comes as a single line. Another thing that you will have in here are the power bars. So right here, the power bar that is telling you, hey, we are the most bullish. We're picking out, right? And then we could be reversing. Once again, picking out, right? And something important about these power bars is that they tend to be right before the actual price action reverses. So that is very neat. All right. So once you have a bright spot like in here, look at that, for example. Let me zoom in here. We're looking for bright spots, all right? So when you have the bright spot in here, you still go a little lower, all right? When you have the bright spot in here, you still go a little higher. So this is amazing because it's giving you kind of like a, hey, heads up, it's coming. All right, so prepare, look out for your support, look out for your resistance, so on and so forth. So it gives you this, and then it also gives you access to, if you go to your indicators, you go to invite only, you'll see a bunch more of indicators. Like, for example, you might be seeing, where is it? The beta, all right? The stringing branches. Basically, the stringing branches are our unreleased testing indicators. And also, they give you other indicator setups. For example, they give you the, what is it? The Market Oracle Plus. Market Oracle Plus. This one in here, which again, is just like Market Oracle Pro, but adds on to our dynamic reactor, volume reactor, and quantum reactor all in the same zone, right? And of course, it adds on your prophecy in as a visual thing. So that is something important. So as for what's groundbreaking, you have one of the biggest content creators, influencers, and analysts in the market pushing their ideas into the indicator they use to give you, what they use and a lot of more functionality. Nonetheless, you also have access to the traditional ones, right? Like this one. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I love the Plus. It looks fantastic, but I also come back to my trusty old oscillator. Why is that? I don't know. I grew up with this, let's just say it that way, right? And that is just part of my analysis. Go back and forth, depending on what I want to see the assist. So yeah, I would say try it out Plus, and you can always downgrade or upgrade. So yeah. Let's go then. Where did I left out? It is CFG. We're a little bit over time, but that's fine because we started a little bit late. So let's do XLM. Here it is. We are keeping track on XLM because it is flagging out. All right. So far, there we go. As you can see, we've been expecting this flag out for a little bit. This is the 4 hours. So we were expecting a possible shorting here. It did not play out exactly as we were expecting, but we took some profits, 50% out, move our stop to entry, and that's fine. It happened that way. And then after that, we were expecting coming back up, either rejection or breakout. What was the definitive point? Rejection. All right. So what happened here? We had rejection, and what happens? Well, then you could have shorted. I did not, by the way, just for full transparency. And then right now we're still hovering within that zone. Where is it going to be breaking out? Again, this is a pennant. I would say that this is still unknown, but we can do some tips or tricks to kind of like go ahead and start predicting where is it going to be breaking out. Where is it bunching things up? Look at that, ranging, and a liquidity zone. So far, this is talking about a big area of support, but that will be breaking the trend line, all right? So we need to be a little bit careful here. Another one that is giving us an insight is, again, your money flow POC. Once again in here. So we might have a fake out and then a continuation. So far, looking at a downwards breakout, it is for now not an option. But that makes us to go for possible longs at these zones. All right. Stop loss below previous lows and give yourself a little bit of a wiggle room. Aim to your previous highs for TP number 1. So that will be my entry right here. In fact, let's add an alert so we know where to enter. Let's go and take a look at ADA. ADA, perfect. ADA looking fantastic. This was one of the breakout retest areas that we were looking for right here. Also, we look into this one for a 33% retracement. Everything actually is printing on ADA, but we need to be careful. We have a blow-off candle in here. And let's see, are we really on resistance? Well, we're getting to some Yes, resistance, but area of liquidity. Let's mark that resistance. I know it's a little bit far away, but we have a low in here. Where is it? We have some other 1, 2, 3 lows in here. So I think that's it. That's gonna be making us a box. All right. So we need to flag out. We're having triple divergence in here. Right. That doesn't mean that much on a strong uptrend, but if they start getting accumulated, we need to flag out. So looking for a possible retracement. Let's use another setup in here. Let me also fix this. Let's click OK. Let's wait for it. Let's see what else we have. Well, support and resistances, not much in between support and resistance. We already knew that. All right, resistance at the top and in the middle. So flagging out would be a good opportunity. VRVP, nothing. Oh, all right. Purple line. This is dramatic because, well, it actually fits between those support and resistances. But so far, let's go for, and then let's do this. Because that reminds you, oh, shoot. That reminds to be reanalyzed in here. So far, a rejection, it is imminent. So be careful there. Move stop to entry, consider taking some profits. And there we go. I think we're gonna be good to go. I'm just gonna be updating this and a possible re-entry right there. Perfect. Right, what else do we have? Fartcoin. All right, that's gonna be the last one because I need to go for the next show. Fartcoin, perfect. All right, so Fartcoin, we did nail one. In fact, this was on Charter Hackers. How is it looking right now? It's toppy, again, very toppy. We're still pushing upwards, but we're on a previous resistance. So long in Fartcoin, no, unless we have a retracement. What kind of retracement? I want to see a multi-candle retracement. How's my oscillator looking? Again, a little toppy. We still have some movement to grow to the upside, or some space to grow to the upside. I can see it moving to the upside. Let's see how far. Not that far though. Oh, here it is. Maybe topping somewhere around 107, 169. But other than that, I would rather see something like this. All right, so a little bit of a range so we can completely come back down and then come back up. That will be my next entry point. So far, no longs on Fartcoin so far. But yeah, all right, guys. So that is all for me today. Hopefully, you guys have a very fun Monday. What I would recommend, again, not financial advice, but a good recommendation will be start scanning your possible entries, right? It's not that you are going to be entering today, but start looking where those retracements or those flagging outs might be taking you for, I don't know, tomorrow, Tuesday, or even Wednesday for the second part of the week, taking some profits. So, guys, thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.